Today on Creative Living with Lynn Lilly, we kick off the show with another good news story in the Rosie-R Side of Life. Our friends from Fizzy are in the kitchen showing us how to whip up easy cocktails. Our paper crafting expert Lori from 4011 Designs has an easy craft for the whole family. Miss Millie Event Design and Rentals is giving us tips for planning your next event. And I'm closing out the show with an easy epoxy craft that's perfect for a gift or home decor. As you guys just heard, we have a great show planned for you. Welcome to the show. If you are new, each week we have a different show planned, but we've always have crafts, laughs, and lots of fun. All right, so you guys know I have a glue gun. It's going in and out of stock, but if you want to find out exactly when it's back in stock, make sure you visit surebonder.com/Lynn Lilly. You can sign up to get a notification when it's back. Okay, last but not least, make sure you sign up for our newsletter. Pop over to craftboxgirls.com, hit that subscribe button. We're trying to send out a newsletter 1 to 2 times a month. Sometimes we get busy, it's a little less, but we promise we won't spam ya. We'll have lots of fun behind the scenes stuff and some good inside tips for crafting and cooking. All right, guys, I think it is time to kick off the show. Let's go talk about good news stories with Rosanna. All right, we are already having fun on the show. You guys know Rosanna.
Hey.
She's our COO here at Craftbox Girls and AKA my unofficial life coach.
I just do that.
I mean, she's just pretty awesome and always has good news stories. So what are we talking about today?
So we're talking about this man. His name is Peter.
Okay.
And ever since he was younger, he knew he was meant to be a dad. So he decided to do this foster journey about 3 years ago, and he has just been fostering kids since then.
That's amazing.
Well, about 2 years ago, he met this young boy. His name is Tony.
Okay.
And at the time, he was 11. Well, Tony was abandoned at a hospital from his first adoptive family, which is really sad.
That is really sad. That makes me really mad at those people. I don't know their situation, but
you know, that wouldn't have happened if Tony didn't, or
It's
Peter
true.
didn't meet Tony.
Yes,
right.
true.
So, a social worker asked Peter if he wanted to foster Tony for the weekend.
okay.
And so when that came about, Peter could not help be connected to Tony, and he knew that he wanted to be his adopted father. So they started this journey, and just this past fall, he became the official father-son combo, which is really sweet.
I love that.
And actually, let me share a quote from his Instagram post. Peter shares that, "Adopted today, I was chosen, I was cherished, I grew in his heart, and I was the missing piece, and I'm loved today despite of my shortcoming." So it's just really sweet.
I just got goosebumps. Oh my God. Is Peter's a single dad?
Peter is a single
Wait,
dad.
they should have got rid of the old Peter the Bachelor, and this Peter should be the Bachelor. That's the kind of guy you need.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, how sweet. What
So sweet.
a good story.
Thanks.
I love it. All right, you've got more good stories next week, right?
Yep, I'll be back.
All right. I'm going to head to the kitchen and make some real cocktails, not button cocktails,
Not button cocktails.
with my friends at Fizzy. But you'll be back next week with some more good stories,
I
right?
will.
Awesome. Billy, how are you?
Hello, Lynn.
It's so good to see you.
Good to see you.
I'm not going to say I'm not a little disappointed that Fizzy isn't here, but we couldn't get Fizzy in the studio.
Yeah, it would have been a little hard.
Okay, do you guys remember when we had my vow renewal? But that was probably a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah, it's been a
Time
minute.
is flying.
So fast.
These guys were the ones that helped me pull it together, and Billy is responsible for Fizzy, the cutest new resident of Atlanta.
Yeah, she's so
Oh
adorable.
my God, she's adorable. How are things been going with Fizzy?
Fantastic. Things have taken off so fast for us. We're trying to keep up and make sure that we can book all of Atlanta's lovely events and beyond.
I love it. So for those of you that don't know, give them a quick, Meet Fizzy.
Yeah, so Fizzy is a 1986 Piaggio Ape we imported from Italy last year. We renovated her towards the end of 2020, or excuse me, 2019, and then in 2020 launched, obviously, with your vow renewals.
Yes, she got married with me. That was like one of her first events.
That's right. We kind of introduced her with your vow renewal. And so she is a little tap truck now that serves all sorts of beverages, non-alcoholic, alcoholic, you name it, we're in.
All the things, right? So today you're going to show us how to make a good spring cocktail.
Yeah, so when we kind of talked, we wanted to do a spring cocktail with really, really fresh ingredients, something that would go well right around the Easter time and things like that. Today we have the Fizzy Rosemary Lemonade.
Ooh, that sounds right up my alley. All right, so what are we doing to get started?
Okay, so we're going to start with a really great gin. This Dr. Val's is one that's botanical and really smells fresh and kind of springy, like cucumbers and stuff like that.
Unlike, I normally think gin smells like Christmas trees, but I smelled this one and it just smells so fragrant.
Yeah, it's really, really great. Very flavorful. Even the gin drinkers, or the non-gin drinkers, love this gin.
Yeah, I am not a huge gin drinker to start, but my husband got me into it and I really like it.
Fantastic. Well, hopefully you're going to love this.
Okay. So how much are we pouring in there?
Okay, so we're going to do 1.5 ounces
Okay.
for each serving. So since you and I are both going to be tasting this today, we're going to do 3 ounces total.
Okay. And so when you're picking out a gin, obviously probably the better gins work better in these like fancier cocktails versus if you go kind of less expensive.
You just want to layer it, right? Like you want all the flavors to show through. So something that is very floral and things like that, especially around springtime with all of these different fresh ingredients of the season, definitely will help out.
Cool. All right, what's next?
All right, next we're going to add some really fresh squeezed lemon juice.
Okay, that is one thing I've learned is that fresh squeeze makes a big difference between that lemon juice and the bottle.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to use that grocery store little like lemon bottle or anything like that.
Not a good idea.
Just take the opportunity to squeeze it yourself.
Yes. All right, how much?
So we're going to do 3/4 ounce for each one. And again, since me and you, we'll do 2.
Yeah, I smell the lemon juice too.
Yeah.
Delicious. And then what is that?
Okay, next we have a rosemary simple syrup. And this is super easy.
I was going to say, how do you make rosemary simple syrup?
Okay, so 1 part sugar, 1 part water.
Okay.
Bring it to a boil, drop some fresh rosemary in, let it steep for about 45 minutes, and then just strain it.
Cool. How long can you keep it?
You can keep it about 2 weeks.
In the fridge? Mm-hmm. Nice. Yeah. Okay, so you can have cocktails for 2 weeks. I love it.
Super easy.
All right, how much of this?
And we're going to do the same amount as the lemon juice, 3/4 ounce for each one.
Yum. Oh, this like makes me want to sit on my porch.
I know.
Listen to some country music and just, rock away in my rocking chair.
Okay, so we're going to give this a twirl.
Okay.
Obviously, some of your viewers may not have this at home.
Right, that's a fancy spoon. I don't got one of this.
Right. Hey, we just want to chill all the ingredients down first before we pour them over ice to kind of like slow that melt rate on that ice a little bit.
So any spoon could work for that, right?
Really, any spoon.
Any spoon. Got it.
Spoon.
Okay.
All right, we're going to take this and we're going to strain it over these 2 lovely glasses we have prepared.
Okay. And that's also a fancy strainer. My husband has one of those on his bar. It's okay. We like to make messes here. Don't worry about spilling.
Yeah, luckily you put down the nice
paper.
tablecloth.
Yeah, we're all about the mess here. Okay. Oh, I'm so excited.
All right, now we got that done. We're going to top it with a little...
Oh, we're not done?
Oh, yeah, we got a little club soda.
Okay.
Give that effervescence a little bit, the bubbles.
Fizzy's bringing the fizz.
Fizzy's bringing the fizz.
I love this. Oh my gosh, this is so great. This is also easy. You can make this at home. But now, when you guys do events, you obviously have beverages on the tap, whether it's alcoholic or non-alcoholic. But will you also do other craft cocktails as well?
We will. Really, mocktails, cocktails. We want to please everyone, especially since we realize there's some youngsters at some of the events.
Yep.
So really, we can do most anything.
Cool. Are we ready to try?
We are ready to try.
We
real
got
quick.
Some rosemary.
We're gonna garnish this to make it look all pretty for your spring.
I love it. Oh, look, and some lemon.
A little bit of lemon.
Yes.
For you.
Cheers.
Little patio sipper.
Oh my, I don't even taste the alcohol in that. That's dangerous.
Pretty good.
It's really good. Okay, while I take some more sips, Billy, remind our viewers where they can follow you and if, you're in the Georgia area or maybe in the Southeast, right? You guys will travel.
Yeah, of course. We love to travel.
Where they can look into booking you for future events.
Yeah, so at Get Fizzy ATL on Instagram and Facebook and www.getfizzyatl.com. getfizzyatl.com.
Awesome. And all types of events, right?
All types of events.
So weddings, mitzvahs, birthdays, anniversaries,
yeah, your
festivals.
corporate event or just a social get together in your backyard.
Awesome. And then you guys are going to be at some festivals this summer, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, of course.
So make sure you follow them on social because you can find out where they're going to be so you can meet Fizzy in person because she is so stinking cute.
So cute.
Like, adorable. Awesome. Thank you so much,
Thank
Billy.
you, Lynn. It was good to see you.
I appreciate this cocktail. I'm going to hold on to this while I walk to the craft room to craft with Lori.
Well,
All right.
Enjoy.
Thank you. Lori, how are you?
Hi, Lynn. How are you?
Good. I'm so glad you're back.
I'm so glad to be back.
For those of you that don't know Lori, you should. She is our paper crafting expert here at the show. An amazing crafter, designer with 4011 Designs. And each week that she's here, she shows us a cool and easy craft that anyone can do.
That's right.
So what are we making today?
So today you're going to love this.
Okay.
Okay. So in honor of April being, you've got
Earth Day.
all these fun things going on in April. And so you've got Mother's Day coming up and all these things that you need little gifts for.
Yeah,
Okay.
summer.
So what we're doing today is we are making recycled journals.
I love this.
Now, what are we recycling?
We are recycling coffee pod box.
Cardboard boxes.
Yes.
Everybody has these at home. Okay?
Oh my gosh, I
Cereal
have a garage
boxes,
full.
Right.
Yes.
Cereal boxes, cracker boxes, coffee, the little K-cups, that's what these are.
Yep.
And so I thought, why throw this away? You can recycle this and make something cool out of it.
I love it.
So we are making these adorable little mini
These are
notebooks
so
today.
stinking cute.
Yes, and so these, you can make these any size you want. Stick them in your purse. Give them to, coworkers, your
Moms,
friends, kids.
a little hostess gift.
Exactly. So
Super cute.
you can make these as absolutely as cute as you want. Okay.
Okay.
So what you're going to do is you are going to get a cardboard box.
All right,
okay?
so you can really pick any size that you want, right?
Right, exactly, because you're going to cut it down so that you can make it any size, small, medium, large, whatever you want.
Okay.
So I cut this down. So this is roughly a little bit over 5 by 7.
Okay.
Okay. So I just cut it. What we're going to do is we are going to first cover it with some paper. Okay. So this is also a great way if you've got some sort of paper at home, like scrapbook paper or things you can
Extra
always
way to
use.
use it.
Right.
Yeah.
You can always use scraps. So what we're going to do is I've already cut this piece to fit.
Okay.
So what you're going to do is you are going to just glue that on.
Got
okay.
it.
So all we're going to do is just run a little adhesive on there. So I'm using a glue gun. Go the other way with it. There you go. You
But
got
it's
it.
not coming out.
So
I think we're stuck.
it's
Maybe.
okay. There we go. You got it. Press the little trigger and off you go. You can use any type of adhesive you want. You can use just regular liquid glue. This just happens to be a tape runner. You can use whatever you want.
This is like the biggest tape runner I've ever used. I'm used to using the teeny tiny one.
I
love
know,
that
but
one.
this one is really nice because, especially for something like this that takes a little bit of extra hold, it's a really
it's a
good
little bit
choice.
stronger glue.
Yep. So what we're going to do is we're just going to cover this part of
Okay.
it, okay? So all we're going to do is we're just going to
Easy peasy.
place it right on there, okay? So
Cool.
now you've covered it with your paper.
Yep.
Now here comes the paper part of it.
Okay.
All this is just printer paper.
Regular printer paper that you have at home. You could probably put decorative paper, other kind of papers in there if
Exactly.
you want.
So you can use notebook paper, graph paper, any kind. Okay. So what we're going to do is I took like 4 or 5 sheets.
Okay.
Again, completely up to you. And I'm going to cut these down to fit. So I'm cutting these at like 5 by 7. But again, how you cut it is going to depend on
how big your
Right.
actual book is. Do
Right.
you want to cut it slightly smaller? You want it to be exactly the same size?
You want to cut it a little bit smaller. So what it's going to look like is it's going to do something like
The
this.
pages of a book are usually smaller than the cover.
You got it. So then all you're going to do is you're going to fold it in half. Give it a little crease just
Okay.
like that.
Easy peasy.
Right? Okay, now, how are we going to do this?
I don't know, Lori. How?
We are going to, I'm going to show you a really, really easy
let me
way
move out of the
to
way.
do your own bookbinding.
Okay. I have used an owl. I feel like I say that so funky.
I
an
know.
Owl.
Yeah.
But owls are dangerous.
Yeah, they kind of are.
Yeah.
And so we don't go into all that trouble.
Yes.
Okay. So what this is this is a needle. You can find these actually over in the embroidery floss.
Yep,
okay?
they're a
This
little
is-
bit thicker.
Right.
Needle.
This is they actually call this a knitter's needle.
Okay.
So it's a little bit thicker, but this is really nice for paper crafting because it is a little thicker. So all we're going to do is you are going to through the the backing and the paper.
Yep.
All we're going to do is we're going to line up the center, and you're just going to poke a couple of holes in it.
And what do you have underneath here?
So underneath here, to protect your work surface, all this is literally an old mouse pad.
Oh, sweet.
People have mouse pads.
People
at home.
have mouse pads, right?
You can use a little piece of foam, something just so you can.
You don't stab the table.
You got it. So then all we're going to do your book binding is we're going to run this through. And this is just a piece of, we call this baker's twine.
Yep.
You can use embroidery floss. You can
really use anything you want as long as it goes through the head of your needle.
You got it.
The eye of your needle.
So all we're doing is we are just strictly running it through the holes in the paper and in the backing.
So easy. What I love about this is obviously you may be spending a lot of time at home. This is something fun that you could do as a family where kids help cut and, glue or tape, and then parents can help sew it together.
Right.
And then it's the gift that keeps on giving, where the kids can journal in there, color, draw.
You got it. Because I know when I was little, I used to love to draw, and I would always be asking my mom for notebooks and things like that.
My daughter's only 2.5, and she's already stockpiling notebooks. She sees something on the table and slowly grabs it and then hides it in her playroom.
So this is a really good way to use stuff that you've got already,
home.
laying around at home, and you can make these. So what we did is we just ran that baker's twine through a couple of times. Yep. And then all we're going to do is to bind it off, we're going to just tie a little knot. And I always do this on the inside of my book. That way your spine still stays nice
and clean.
Yeah, you got it. So when we tie the knot,
like that.
It goes something like that. We're just going to trim off those edges. So I usually cut it fairly close to the knot so that the book will close nicely. And you see you've got that
nice clean binding.
Cute little spine.
That is so stinking cute. And then you could have some fun with it. You could decorate the front of it if you wanted.
Exactly.
See, these over here you decorated. So if you're doing it with the family, the kids can have some fun on the outside, or it makes a really nice gift to give someone. What about a hostess gift? Put a nice little pen with that.
Yes, and so put a little pen with it, put their initials on there, and you've got a gift that you have just popped out in about 5 minutes.
I love it. This is so cute. Okay, remind our viewers where they can follow you, your blog, and on social.
Okay, so my blog is at LoriMcCullers.com. The name of it is 4011 Designs. You can also find me at Facebook at 4011 Designs and on Instagram. And on Instagram, I'm under McCullers Lori.
I love it. All right, guys, this is super cute. Go follow her, please. I love this. Adorable.
Hey, I'm so glad.
All right, I'm going to head over and talk about event design with Miss Millie.
Ooh, that sounds like fun.
And I know you'll be back. You've got some fun crafts planned. Thanks so much,
Thank
Lori.
you.
All right, Cindy, how are you? It is so good to see you.
Good seeing you too.
And I am so excited because the studio is in full bloom with all of the fun, beautiful stuff you brought. So those of you that don't know Cindy, because she is a first-time guest, she is with Miss Millie's Event Design and Rentals.
Yes.
So tell our viewers really quick about all the amazing things you do. And this isn't my first time getting to experience her amazingness.
Yes, I have a rental company and design, and we also do florals. And we did a photo shoot with you recently for the Foxglove
Wedding.
Marietta
So if you guys remember when Brennan and I renewed our vows, you saw all of the beautiful event decor. That was this lady. It was so pretty. And I loved the boho chic theme that you went with. Because that's really hot right now.
Yeah, that's really hot right now. But we have a huge variety of things, from the small decor things you're about to see to the bigger items that we have, is up to furniture, walls. We can create where we do custom work. So anything you might want for any event, we pretty much have it, or we'll get it.
She works her magic. So today we're talking about weddings, but you do all types of events, right?
Yeah, we do weddings as one of our primary events, but we do corporate events. We do parties, birthday parties, children's parties, adult parties.
Mitzvahs. You even said you've done movie sets.
Movie sets, and we've done several celebration of life events.
Amazing. Okay, so let's talk about what we have here. I feel like I should be ready to walk down the aisle. But tell me kind of where we're at here. I see lanterns. I see a beautiful Mercury vase. But this would be a setup for an aisle for a wedding.
Yes, for an aisle for a wedding. So in the past, a lot of people will put a floral onto the chair, and it's really pretty that way, but then it stays there and it doesn't get repurposed.
Right.
And so we try to stretch a budget, no matter what your budget, even if you have a large budget, that we can use these items on the aisle that can be picked up and not left on a chair, and then moved into a space in your venue. Usually on one of your tables.
I love that. So it's kind of like a 2-for-1, right? You have this beautiful ceremony decor, and then move it in and use it in your reception.
Right.
And one of the things I know, some brides want to just buy things because they think they'll have it.
Right.
But like, you're never going to really reuse these again unless you get married again, which I hope you don't. But
Yeah.
it makes sense probably to rent these things, right?
Right. One thing is we charge a fraction of what you can buy them for. So the
Sure.
rental is less expensive. We prep it, clean it, have it ready to be, we deliver it, set it on your table, and then we come back that night and pick it up.
Which is
So
amazing.
I always say you don't want to move on your wedding day. And this
Right.
is like moving, as you ladies will say. That's
Yeah.
just us coming here with a few things was boxes and boxes
Oh,
of stuff.
yes, absolutely.
So it's a lot larger than you think.
All right, so we see them right here in the aisle. Now we're going to hop over and see what they look like on a table and talk about different ways you can repurpose them.
Okay, perfect.
Let's go. Okay, Cindy, this is beautiful. First of all, I love just the smell of fresh flowers.
I know, I do too.
One thing that you told me before we got started was you guys just don't rent the pieces, but now you're becoming like full service, take care of everything for you,
Yes.
including floral design.
Yes, now we do florals, rentals, and florals. So we've just started that.
That's amazing. One-stop shop is the way that I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about repurposing and how you can kind of reuse and repurpose throughout your ceremony and your reception.
Yeah, so for example, this was on the aisle
Yep.
that we just spoke about. And then this is a mother's little bouquet. So then we usually put that at her table.
Mhm.
And so when the mother sits down, or the planner can grab that and stick it in that vase. And then this is just something we would have there. So if you see, this would be, on one
A
of your
nice
big
little
round.
grouping.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty grouping, and both of these things were used in the ceremony. And you could have just these, or you can add another floral if you want.
I love that. That is the perfect grouping for a nice round table.
Yeah, and so then everything is reused, and it makes it kind of just add lushness to it.
Okay, let's talk about this beautiful bouquet here. I love this.
I do too. I think this is pretty. So yeah, this is the bride's bouquet,
Okay.
and you can do the same with the bridesmaids bouquets. So
Okay,
we recommend.
so you've got this. So
Mhm.
you could display it in this if you
Mhm.
needed a larger, taller piece.
Yeah. So depending on what your decor is, and we have a variety of colors and so textures, and we're always adding to our inventory. So if you wanted something a little more boho or rustic, you could do that. But there's a huge variety of vases that you can put those in.
So I love too pairing it with, you've got kind of these small votives
Mhm.
here, which are really pretty and kind of add to it. So you can really just have sometimes one piece and some of those small
Right.
votives around
Mhm.
it.
And then also you could add, your bouquet and your mom's bouquet or your grandmother's bouquets. So it can be mixed in, and we help you design and style this whole thing when you come out and meet with us.
I love it. They set it up, they pick it up, they do all the things.
Yes.
So when it comes to picking your flowers, do you kind of have some advice? So when I was designing my wedding, I literally was like, here are the colors I like. I don't even know where to start on what flowers. So kind of what are your advice when you start thinking about what types of flowers you want in these arrangements?
So usually we start with, by the time they come to us, they usually know they've got a huge Pinterest board.
Yep.
So they know what they want as far as the basic.
Mhm.
And so we say, show us a bouquet that your, inspiration that you have. And so sometimes it'll be, this is a really bright one, but any colors, can fit into this. So once we kind of know what florals, and we have a design consultant,
Mhm.
on staff for florals. So once you do that, you start with your bouquet and you determine what the style, the theme, how
Mhm.
that's going to carry through.
So remind our viewers where they can follow you, because you do travel throughout the Southeast.
Yes.
So if you want to book Cindy from Miss Millie's Event Design and Rentals, they can go to.
Yes, they can go to follow us on Instagram at Miss Millie's or Facebook. And then we're also located in Norcross or the Atlanta area.
Yep.
Set up an appointment, come out, and we can help you design your event.
Perfect. And remind them of your website.
It's missmillies.com.
Amazing. I feel like I'm just going to go sit in the corner and smell these flowers for a second, and then I'll be back in the living room to show you how to make an epoxy craft. All right, guys, so epoxy is one of my favorite mediums to work with. You may have seen some of the crafts I've done over the last year, but I love creating art with epoxy. I love doing tabletops. It's just so fun to work with, and it literally gives your projects such a professional, cool look. So today I'm going to show you to do it with silicone molds. To get started, I've got this alphabet mold. So literally just got this guy off Amazon for a few bucks. And it is a silicone mold of each letter of the alphabet. Now, you can use this for cooking or crafting, but remember, if you're gonna use it for crafting, keep it for crafting, okay? The next step is you're going to need some epoxy. So I'm using the Famawood Glaze Coat. You always wanna make sure that you follow the instructions on how to mix up your epoxy. Literally, I'm a little willy-nilly crafter and usually don't follow a lot of instructions, but you must follow the instructions to get the correct outcome that you want. So, mix up your epoxy, and then you can decide. There's a lot of different things that you can put in your epoxy. You could put glitter in it, you could put paint, but for this one, I'm gonna put in some really pretty flakes of glitter. And I'm just gonna mix that in with my popsicle stick. Now, keep in mind you may wanna wear gloves, but I'm kind of a crazy crafter, so I left my gloves off. So once I get it, all my glitter nice and mixed in there, I highly recommend mixing your glitter in versus putting it into the silicone mold first, because you'll get that kind of sticking out of your epoxy. So I'm gonna pick a letter L, because of course I love L's, and I am going to just go ahead and fill very lightly my silicone mold. Do a little bit at a time. You can also use your popsicle stick to help spread out the epoxy as you pour it in. You want to do it pretty full. It's not really going to rise, so you want to get it as full as you would like it to be. And once you get that in there, now you'll notice that there are some bubbles, okay? So you're gonna wanna use a heat gun. If you don't have a heat gun, you can always use an open flame like a lighter or a candle lighter. And we're gonna wanna glaze over the surface to lightly pop our bubbles. And it's like magic. You can see the bubbles popping as you kind of bring that heat over the surface. Now, you want to set this to dry. It's usually going to take overnight. Depending on where you live, if it's humid, it may take a little longer. So we're going to set this aside, and I want to show you what they look like when you're done. So check out this L. I've also got some other letters that I did. Now, after the fact, you could just have them stand on the table like this, but I went ahead and drilled a hole in it with my drill. I used a pretty thin drill bit. You'll want to drill the hole as large as you need your jump ring or your key ring to be, and it can become a keychain, or it can just be a desk weight. It could be a present topper. There's tons of things that you could do with it, but how professional does that look? I was like, that's something like you get in a super cute boutique. So really easy, fun thing to do. All right, so one more, guys. You can get silicone molds for coasters. So these are pretty much made for crafting. I got mine on Amazon. We'll make sure we share the link. And you can fill these with epoxy to create your own at-home coasters. So, couple things. We're gonna start with some gold flakes. So I've got my little tweezers, okay? And I'm gonna take my gold flakes, and I'm gonna put my gold flakes on the bottom first. Now, you don't really wanna mix in your gold flakes into your epoxy. It makes it kind of a little gooey and hard, and you may not get the effect you want. So I like to do it with the tweezers, and then you can kind of place these as you see fit based on how many you want and kind of where you want them in the coaster. Now, you could then just pour clear epoxy over them, totally up to you, or you can get a little fancy with it like we're going to. And I've got 2 separate cups of epoxy here. So again, follow your instructions on the box. I've got just a small section set out, and I'm gonna add some paint to it. So I'm using Unicorn Spit because it's my favorite add-in. And I'm gonna put just a few dots of it in. There we go. And then I'm gonna mix it in. Now you can keep adding. I like to say start small until you see if you get the color that you want. So make sure that's nice and mixed in. And you can always add some glitter if you want into your clear one, or you can leave it as is. I'm gonna start by pouring just a smidge of clear in first, and then I'm gonna go ahead and put in some of my colored. So do a little bit at a time, and keep in mind with epoxy, you do have about a 10-ish minute work period, so you've got to work kind of quickly from after when you mix your epoxy. Now, I'm gonna take my green, and I'm gonna kind of swirl it in there, and then I can come back with my popsicle stick. So just like that. Come back with my popsicle stick, and I can manipulate it a little bit. So I can kind of swirl it around because my epoxy is still very liquefied. Swirl it till I get it how I want. And then I want to make sure that I'm pretty much at the top with my epoxy. If not, add just a smidge more. It will self-level, so good thing to note, it will level itself. Then you're going to take your heat gun again, you'll run your heat gun over it to pop the bubbles, and then, ta-da, you get what is this really awesome coaster. How cool is this, guys? So you can even add, if you wanted to add a permanent vinyl monogram to it, you can do that as well. And then check this guy out. So this is with copper flakes and silver flakes and just clear epoxy. So tons of different cool things you can do. Epoxy is amazing. I've got a ton more epoxy crafts on craftboxgirls.com. If you want to see how to create art and some really cool projects and furniture, make sure you hop over to our website and search epoxy. All right, guys, that's the end of the show. Did you love it? I I hope you did. I had such a fun show with you guys. All right, so make sure that you tune in next week. If you're watching from Amazon Prime, hop over to @CraftBoxGirls. Follow us on social. Feel free to send ideas for the show. We'd love to hear from you. So be kind, inspire someone, and we'll see you next week. Bye, guys.